Previously on Danganronpa.
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Oh, all right, guys. All right, let's like finally solve this thing, huh? I'm dying to know. Just so many like twists and turns and stuff like that. I wonder who we're gonna pin it on now.
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Sakura was poisoned.
Poisoned?
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
Of course not. You don't make mistakes.
You're making me go all weak in the knees!
Ooh.
She was poisoned? It isn't possible.
How is it not
Is it
possible?
really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
You can explain it?
Because he did it.
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
But you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
Chem C9.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle.
We don't know whether. Well,
But
yeah.
the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
This is gonna be interesting, guys, because we found it in section A.
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In Section A, dietary supplements. In B, reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
The bottle of poison Byakuya just showed us. I'm sure I know where he got it. Section A.
I got it! The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
You just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
What do you mean?
I mean, this.
Whoa, that's a gutsy move. I couldn't believe my eyes. Byakuya put the bottle of poison to his lips and...
Master!
We were so shocked at what we were seeing. All we could do was stand there and watch. But as if it were the most natural thing in the world, Byakuya was as calm as ever.
Ugh, that tastes awful.
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
You remember, like, some years back, people were, speaking of powder, people were doing, like, a cinnamon challenge where they were, like, trying to chug a cup of cinnamon or shot of cinnamon. And, it basically was, like, it, like, caused your, like, lungs to collapse. Don't quote me on that, but it caused, like, some severe issues. Not to mention, like, that stuff clumps in your throat. So, like, it's very hard to breathe. One time I tried doing that with a cup of sprinkles, like, that you put on, like, your ice cream. And I thought it was at a party, and yeah, that like those sprinkles, they just clumped together. It was like the most terrible thing. I'm surprised I was able to get it down, but it was bad. Don't do that, kids. Don't do that.
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's protein powder.
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
Yoko took the bottle from Byakuya and scraped out a bit of the contents with one finger. She touched her finger to her tongue.
It's protein powder.
Huh?
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
On the floor. The bottle of poison was actually filled with protein powder, which would mean that conversely, the poison must have been in. Could it be? I mean, her protein shake. For starters, yeah. Not the floor. What am I talking about? Hangman's Gambit. I'm gonna go with protein drink. Okay. Need a P. And an R. And this is where I have to... I before E. Never mind. This is an exception. Protein drink, guys. Protein drink.
The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched.
Still doesn't make sense as to why the C9, that bottle though, that protein drink, would be in section A though. Like it's... If he took it from section A and drank the contents of it and it had protein powder in it, then why would somebody... yeah, I don't get. Like, put it back in section C. Why would it be in section A?
So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
Something at the scene. A Monokuma bottle, a protein drink, a cup full of water, a protein drink. Duh.
You're saying they gave her a protein drink, right?
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
Is he gonna say Hina?
For real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
Evidence that shows who switched them. It has to be... It's gotta be the... Gotta be the stuff on the yellow powder. It's actually gotta be... It's possible she did it herself, to be honest. Source of protein? A source of powder. Footprints? I mean, I don't know. I could say... The evidence that shows who switched them, it has to be... There's two things here, so... I'm gonna go with this one, because this is what I was thinking about when he was talking, so...
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
Wait, Sakura has the stuff on her foot.
It was me.
It was Hina.
The footprints. They're mine.
Hina?
All right, so I pointed some fingers at a few people, Byakuya being one of my main targets, obviously. But I did mention it could have been Hina because she felt so betrayed. And then because of her guilt, she was very forceful and tried to pin it on somebody else.
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
Then Ogre's killer was...
It's possible she wasn't, but it was a mistake.
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
Or not. Or not.
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking it.
They're also too small for... But Sakura still has stuff on her feet, so...
And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Sneakers, huh? The only people wearing sneakers here are Makoto and Hina, Makoto and Leon, Makoto and... I guess it's Makoto and Hina.
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
Why he had him stand in the... These footprints must be... Makoto, are they yours? No! Okay then, let me see your shoes and I'll confirm their size for myself.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
Just Hina.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began. You were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you?
Yeah.
This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
She was my dark horse,
I
guys.
can't believe it.
What about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us.
I don't know, there's still some... There's more nuance to
I have to
this.
say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
Is it true? Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right? That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
I'm actually starting to think that they did this together as a way of Sakura saving her honor, saving face. So she told her about it. Hey, I brought you this poison. She told her about it. That's the only reason I can think as to why the room itself was locked. So she gave her. So this is my recounting of the events. We'll see how close I get. So she grabs the protein, the poison, brings it back. They concoct the mixture. She, they have a nice heartfelt goodbye. Hina leaves, and then Sakura puts the chair up against the door, sits down, sorry, she had to drink it first. Hina leaves with the can. Sakura barricades the door, sits down, dies. Then they find her. Hina drops the can once the window is broken when she enters the room. That's my retelling of those events. But I don't think it's just like as simple as like she killed her. I think they were close. We'll see.
And then she downed it all at once. And then
Hold it. I'm not convinced.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you?
She would if she asked her to.
You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind.
My guess is actually she called the three of them there because she was thinking about taking her own life to begin with, and they just attacked. Two of them attacked her.
Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them.
That she felt so like shameful for deceiving them that she was going to take her own life.
Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism. But there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Are you talking about the locked room problem?
The locked room problem and the fact that Sakura we still have the fact that she has protein or poison on her foot, which makes me think that they did it together. They concocted it together and some fell on her foot.
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
well, that doesn't matter. Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
I love that look he gives.
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too obvious, too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just nervous. So, I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
There's also just the case of like how that other bottle fell and
Yeah.
broke.
That's just how it was. What can I do?
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein.
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please, I'd like to know too.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit.
It's also just possible Sakura did it all herself since she has this stuff on her foot. I mean, that makes the most sense that she actually walked through, but she's a big person and her feet would have to be smaller than Makoto. She's taller than Makoto, so...
There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to section C and got the poison.
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of that part of the shelf?
Yeah. When I opened the bottle, I dropped it like an idiot.
I see. Okay then, go on.
I probably would not have. You're leading the witness with that. I would not have asked that
So
question.
then I moved to section A and got the protein powder, and that's where I switched them. Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out. And that's it.
That story you just told. First you went to section C to get the poison. Then moved to section A to get the protein, right? Meaning you went from section C to section A. Do I have that correct?
So if she had dropped it, you would have seen footprints from section C to section A, rather than a walkout and then walk back in.
Yeah.
But if that's true, isn't that a little strange?
Can you repeat that series of events one more time?
What's wrong with you, Big Mac? You're being awfully pushy.
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
How long? Until we figure it out. Until I uncover the full truth of this case. Source of the powder, footprints in the powder, yellow powder, Kyoko's examination, chem lab shill.
First I went to section C. That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And that's where I switched the powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab.
And left the chem
That's all
lab.
there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
A ton. I'm sure there's something strange here. What Hina just told us, it definitely contradicts something I already know. What is it?
First I went to section C. That's when
Source
I
of the
grabbed
powder, maybe?
poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Footprints in the powder we already know.
When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And that's where I switched the powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough.
How much longer must we tolerate this?
All right. This one's gonna be a little bit trickier,
First
I
I went
think.
to section C.
Yep.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
That's probably wrong. Yeah. Did I say something strange? But I'm not lying, I swear.
Shoot!
You think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere.
First I went to section C. That's when I grabbed the poison.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
I mean, the source of the powder.
When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And
Oh.
that's where I switched the powders.
Okay, yes, that's where that
Once
is.
I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled, then I took the bottle and left it. That's all there is.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer
I
must
mean, I
we
kind of knew this. I
tolerate
don't know why I'm like jerking around with it.
First I went to section C. That's when I grabbed the...
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to...
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong!
You said you went to get the poison from Section C, and that's where you spilled the powder, right?
It's funny because that would have gave me a hard time considering I literally was saying these words. It's like she stepped out. She had like, and I was like, this one gave me the hardest out of all of them so far. Even though I knew it.
Yeah? What about it?
And after that, you said you moved from Section C to Section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from Section C to Section A. That contradicts what you just said.
What?
It's a very real possibility that Sakura poisoned herself. Hina found it, was upset about it, and then tried to disguise the fact that Sakura might have killed herself.
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements?
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
I was just nervous, so I didn't notice I'd left a footprint. She was conscious about that.
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
Uh-oh. He's bad because he's wrong.
Well...
You lied to us. Plain and simple. If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to Section A. So you never went to Section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A.
Well... You see...
What the? What the hell? What's going on here?
Oh my god, I love the fact that he's like all
And the
frazzled.
footprints aren't the only problem with her account. Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
Some new evidence.
Evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
Uh-oh.
Did?
Oh my god, did he really do
It
it?
was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found this.
Huh? A piece of glass?
It had sunk to the bottom of the bottle. And the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But, what is it?
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then. Makoto, why don't you explain it?
I don't know what's going on.
Me?
Bud, if you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
Shard of light blue glass Kyoko found in the bottle of poison. The Monokuma bottle. The rec room window.
I got it! It's part of the window from the rec room door, right?
The window?
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
Where was it? Where was it the bottle of poison should have been when I broke the rec room window? According to what Hina told us, should have been in Section A. Section A, right? Of the shelf?
I got it! The bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right, Hina? And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there.
Yep.
That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast. I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked? We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
She drank straight from the bottle.
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here.
What is it?
It has to do with the protein can. After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
Well, no, not that I remember.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here. Yeah, me either.
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
Oh my god. The reason she can say that because there's evidence. There's proof that someone brought the protein can to the rec room after it was opened. I mean, the glass shard's underneath the protein can.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time.
Ah,
It
wow.
had to be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
Alright. Something that can prove that someone brought the protein can into the rec room after it was opened.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
When it
The
comes
rec
to
room
that
was
protein
unlocked.
can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked.
I don't know why I just did that. What does it have to do with what I said? Or do you just not know what you're doing?
Shoot!
You think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before the rec room was
I
unlocked.
didn't do that. My only thing is the protein.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
This one might be a little bit
No,
harder.
that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before.
No, that's wrong.
No, it's wrong.
You remember how there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Of course. It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it?
Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around the protein can. We also found pieces underneath the can.
What?
And this proves it. It shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broken. So it had to be after we got into the room.
I see. So that's your explanation. Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over it...
If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass.
So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate.
And that's made everything clear, hasn't it? As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison, and not the protein can.
Somebody swapped it
But
out.
once the room was opened up, they were switched, and as a result, the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab.
If that's all true, then why did Sakura drink the poison? I thought
Why
we all
indeed?
agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein can.
No, that's not why. The only explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon. Stop by Premiere Monday, Wednesday, or Friday at 2 p.m. EDT right here for more Danganronpa content. Until next time, go forth the rest of your day, make it a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.